Hello, my name is Keziah. I'm on an internship with Echoes International, researching their history for their anniversary celebrating their 150 years. Originally I'm from the Gloucestershire-Herefordshire border, and over the last couple of years I've been studying history at the University of Huddersfield. I'm currently on my placement year. My year has been whilst COVID is happening, so I've been mainly working from home, researching through the magazines, through old letters from mission partners and photographs, going into the archives or looking on the digital archives, and really trying to gather as much information as I can to piece together the history and narrative of Echoes and the stories that the mission partners have. Some of the projects that I've been directly involved in is the book, which will have 150 stories with 150 photos of missions spanning from 1872 to present day, what people are doing now on the mission field. There will also be an exhibition that will have a timeline of events of what was happening at various points in Echoes history, a more in-depth look at the types of mission that was happening and some of the key people that helped Echoes develop and developed mission in countries all around the world. I was struggling with this one because you read stories and you are surprised by them, and then you think, well, I shouldn't be surprised by them because that's just how God worked. For example, Stuart Hine, who was a missionary to Eastern Europe, used to go on 200-mile bike rides across the mountains just to preach to isolated villages up there. And he came across one, and as he walked in, most of the village were on their knees crying, repenting of that to God and coming to faith. And he was like, what's happened? And it turns out one woman in this village had learnt to read, and she found the Bible and started reading John's Gospel aloud. Stuart happened to walk in on them reading about the crucifixion, and that was their reaction to hearing the Gospel for the first time. They were just in awe and they were repenting. I'm so surprised, but actually that's the power of God's word. It changes people's lives, and when they needed a missionary, he sent them one. He sent them Stuart to teach them more about that. They'd never met a missionary or an evangelist before, but Stuart came at just the right time. Not only the stories are encouragement, but they're a challenge. I think many of the stories, some of them are miraculous answers to prayer, some of them are incredible acts of suffering for their faith, whether it's through people persecuting or just the circumstances of living in another land and under famines and stuff like that. And I think it's just a challenge to us that we're all called to mission, whether that's abroad or not. And we can take these stories and we can see what people have done in the past, but ultimately see what God has done through them and be encouraged that we can be just like these people and go out in faith to serve Him. I've just been an entire year reading stories about how God used people in other countries. So spiritually, I think there's so much to take from that, but I won't be able to digest all of it and probably realise the impact that that's had maybe 10, 15 or maybe when I'm in my 80s or something like that. On a practical level, the skills that I've learned from doing researching people's stories and how to handle that material sensitively and being true to who that person was and where they were. I think that's quite difficult to get that right. That kind of skill is something that I'll learn and take away. My hope for mission is that we continue to do it. I think we're all called to be missional, be missionaries. I think the Great Commission is very clear on that. that we all are called to make disciples. So my hope is that we will be able to fulfill that, and that, my grandpa always said, quoted C.T. Studd, which was, only that one life that will soon pass, only what's done for Christ will last. So that's what I hope people live by.